Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Imran. You're watching Linguistic and Literature with Imran. I'll upload some videos in the subject Literary Criticism. This subject is titled with different names such as Literary Criticism, Foundation of Literary Criticism, or just Criticism. So literary criticism as a subject is taught at graduate and postgraduate levels. So I hope you'll find these lectures very interesting and very fruitful, and especially if you are attempting your examination at BS level or MS level, and also for those who wants to develop their sense of literary criticism. So today we will define what is literary criticism. But the focus of today's lecture is to introduce you people Plato as the first literary critic and first critic of literature, right? So let's first begin what is criticism, and then we will introduce Plato. So what is criticism? Whenever we hear the word criticism, so the first thing comes in mind to find out fault in someone or something. But it isn't so. Criticism refers to actively involved to find out fault and merits in someone or something. So you have to look at the both aspect of something, not one aspect, because if you're looking one aspect, then you are not a good judge, then you will become a biased one, right? So criticism is actively involved to look at both sides, merits and demerits, or merits and fault. So criticism is the practice of judging the merits and fault of something. The judger is called a critic. So you become a judge and you evaluate a literary text and you find what merits and fault in that literary text. So you are a judge, and then you will not be a good judge if you only try to find out fault in something or to find out merit in something. Then you become a biased one, right? So criticism is to engage in criticism, is to criticize. So to engage in criticism is to criticize. So you are engaged in criticism when you are criticizing someone or something, right? Now, to criticize does not necessarily imply to find out fault, but the word is often taken to mean the simple expression of an objection against prejudice or a disapproval of something. A good critic objects against prejudice or a disapproval of something, right? So often criticism involves active disagreement, but it may only mean taking side. So you are taking side. It could just be an exploration of different side of an issue. So when you're taking side, so you are exploring the different side of an issue, right? So fighting is not necessarily involved. It doesn't mean when you are criticizing someone or something, so there must be a fight. So fight is not the name of criticism, but you are finding out faults and merits in something, or you are exploring different sides of something, particularly in literature, of a literary text. On this slide, we will discuss early English meaning of criticism. The English word criticism is derived from the French critique. So the word criticism, it is derived from a French word critique, and the French word critique dates back to at least the 14th century. So the word critique has roots in 14th century. Now let's come to 16th century. The word critic and critical existed in the English language from the mid-16th century, and the word criticism first made its appearances in English in early 17th century. So we are talking about a brief history of the word criticism. So the words critic and critical existed in the English language from the mid-16th century. So these words, critic and critical, they exist in the English language from which century? 16th century. And the word criticism first made its appearances in English in the early 17th century. So the word criticism appeared in English language in 17th century, while the two words critic and critical existed in English language in 16th century. The early English meaning of criticism was primarily literary criticism, that of judging and interpreting literature. Samuel Johnson is often held as the prime example of criticism in English language, and his contemporary Alexander Pope's essay on criticism is a significant landmark. In the course of the 17th century, it acquired the more general sense of censure as well as the more specialized meaning of the discernment of the text. So the art of estimating the qualities and character of literary and artistic works implicitly from the point of view of a consumer.